Boris Johnson has warned the European Union issuing threats against the UK amid an ongoing row over fishing rights could put a lucrative and vital deal on financial services in danger. France has ramped up Brexit tensions by warning it will block an EU financial services deal with the UK unless the Prime Minister grants the bloc more access to British waters. Emmanuel Macron's government has lashed out at Britain and accused it of deliberately failing to issue licenses to French fisheries. But Downing Street has furiously hit back at the threats, as post-Brexit tensions between the sides again edge nearer to exploding. Mr. Johnson's official spokesman warned, "We're taking a consistent, evidence-based approach to licensing EU vessels using information supplied by the European Commission." This is another example of the EU issuing threats at any sign of difficulties instead of using the mechanisms of our new treaty to solve problems. We have always been clear that an agreement on financial services is in the best interest of both sides. Britain's lucrative financial services sector was largely cut off from the EU following the end of the agreed transition period with the EU, which came to an end late on December 31. The UK and EU agreed a Memorandum of Understanding (MoU) in March that set out the terms for future financial services interaction between the two sides. However, the MoU must be signed by all remaining 27 remaining EU member states before it can be implemented, a process that is yet to get underway. Last month, France warned it would withhold authorization for the financial sector if Britain did not respect post-Brexit agreements on fishing. A French MEP has lashed out at the UK, accusing Brexit Britain of starting a war against France. French MEP Pierre Carlesquind launched a scathing attack on the UK over the latest Brexit-fueled spat between Britain and France over access to the UK's rich fishing grounds last week. He blasted, "The European Union is peace." Brexit leads to the first deployment of warships so close to our shores in decades. Nationalism is war. The French MEP was reacting to an article published in the French daily Génération Libre by novelist Gaspard Koenig, who warned that Brexit turned the UK into a recluse, nasty and brutal nation-state. A Scottish independence referendum should be blocked for decades, an Express.co.uk poll has indicated. The SNP and First Minister Nicola Sturgeon have used Brexit, which Scotland voted against by 62% to 38% nearly 5 years ago, to claim Scotland has a mandate for another independence referendum. But Prime Minister Boris Johnson has continued to slap down all demands for Indy Ref 2, insisting the vote must be honoured and that it was a once-in-a-generation event. He even suggested Scots will have to wait until 2055 to have another referendum on independence, using the gap between the UK's two votes on EU membership as a guide. But that HASNT slowed down Ms Sturgeon's campaign and in the weeks prior to the Scottish election last week, vowed to press ahead with an independence push if the SNP secured a majority in the Scottish Parliament. The SNP narrowly failed in those attempts, but the success of the pro-independence Greens in the elections now means combined the two parties have a total of 72 seats in Holyrood. However, a damning new poll from express.co.uk has found support for a long delay before the next referendum. 10:30 a.m. update. Shame on you, Brussels. EU blocks life-saving cancer drugs from UK under post-Brexit rules. Life-saving cancer medication is to be denied to patients living in parts of the UK as a result of post-Brexit red tape imposed by Brussels in a worrying sign of things to come. Britain's Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency (MHRA) last week approved osimertinib B, brand name Tagrisso, for patients with early-stage lung cancer, in line with a worldwide scheme aimed at fast-tracking promising medicines. The treatment can improve survival rates by as much as 75%, but because it has not yet been given the green light by the European Medicines Agency (EMA), patients living in Northern Ireland are not eligible for it, as things stand. The issue, which relates to the terms of the Northern Ireland Protocol whereby the region remains bound to some EU rules and regulations, was described to The Times by one government insider as being of significant concern, because it has the potential to inflame already heightened tensions within the unionist community. Another added, the people of Northern Ireland must have the same access to the full range of medicines as anyone else in the rest of the UK. Solutions to such challenges need to be found urgently. We have been calling on the EU to show the flexibility and pragmatism required to reach permanent solutions. Margaret Carr, Cancer Research UK's Public Affairs Manager in Northern Ireland, warned, the divergence of regulations between GB and NI will potentially have implications for approvals of some new cancer drugs in the future. The EU will allow Nicola Sturgeon's independent Scotland into the bloc, as Spain will not treat it in the same way as Catalonia, a political scientist has told express.co.uk. The SNP and Scottish Greens won a total of 72 seats in Holyrood, and the election victory is an urgent issue for one union, the UK, but it may also pose important questions down the line for another, the EU. Both parties stood on a platform of an independent Scotland joining the bloc. However, Scottish First Minister Nicola Sturgeon would have to overcome many hurdles before she could secure membership. After winning Indiaf II, Scotland would need to apply to join the bloc again under Article 49 of the Treaty of the European Union. New members can only be allowed into the bloc through a unanimous vote from the existing member states, and an independent Scotland would undoubtedly ruffle feathers. Spain is struggling with secession demands itself from Catalonia, so many believe it is unlikely to support a newly independent state. Scotland could be rejected by Brussels due to its current deficit of 7% of GDP, unless it adopted a strict austerity programme from the EU as well as potentially adopting the euro. In an interview with Express.co.uk, though, Professor Michael Keating dismissed such claims, arguing the EU would welcome Scotland, as it is nothing like Catalonia.